So today I'm going to demonstrate a number of different arm balances. I'm going to do one side, so I'm going to race through these arm balances just to check them off and see what we can do. So the first I'm going to do, it's not a true arm balance since a foot is down, but Vashisthasana. So I got my wrist and my ankle in a line. I lift the hips, stack the feet, stack the shoulders, maybe lift the leg up, maybe bind. So I'm only going to do one side. But then we're going to do Bhujapadasana, which is arm pressure balance. And so arm pressure balances typically come in from a Malasana style squat, where the shoulders come inside of the knees, the hands go back just behind the feet, and then the elbows bend straight back. So we're able to sit our hamstrings on top of the triceps and walking the feet forward, crossing the right over the left, lifting up. So we can bend the elbows and sink down. This is the A variation, if you will. And then to lift up, straighten the arms, bring the toes back through, bring the chin down to hover. So both the toes, the knee, nose hover here. And then come out, come back up. And the exit from this is actually through Titibhasana. So Titibhasana, I'm going to squeeze the inside of my knees up against the triceps as I push back here. And then I can actually go from here to crow pose, lifting up. And then to straighten the arms and come to a crow pose. A crane. So the difference between crow and crane is straight arms in crane versus the bent arms in crow. So the typical entry into crow is to, again coming from a Malasana style squat, to bring the knees into the armpits or to the outside of the triceps, and then transfer the weight into the hands, spread the fingers out wide, engage the fingertips, lift the hips, lift the gaze, either straighten the arms or bend the elbows. So another entrance to crane or crow, and then another entry into Titibhasana and Bakasana, Titibhasana and Bhujapadasana. Bring the knees behind the shoulders, and then lifting up, extending the legs out. So, Galavasana. So Galavasana, flying pigeon pose. So pigeon, so we can have a reclined pigeon pose, or we could have a pigeon with a forward fold. But to have an arm balance, I'm going to come from mountain pose, Tadasana. I'm going to bring that ankle up, flex that ankle as I come down into a one-legged squat. I'm going to sink my hips back towards my heels so I wrap the toes around my tricep. The hands come down, shoulder width apart, knee into the armpit, toes wrap around the tricep, transfer the weight into the hands, and then lift that back leg up, point the toes, gaze forward, bring the knee in, come back up. Now, so dragonfly pose comes in very similar to that flying pigeon. But now I'm going to bring my elbow outside of the foot here. Then I'm going to bend the elbows as I transfer the weight over, And I'm using the top leg to help hold that foot onto my elbow. I want to come out the same way. And up and out. Peacock pose. So it doesn't look from the outside as much of an arm balance as something like crow pose, but this one's really challenging because of the angle of the wrists. And so from here, the hands go down, fingers point back. The real trick here is to get your elbows low enough down towards your hips, as low as you can below your navel. Bring the hands down. Shift your weight forward over your elbows. Look up, and then lift the back legs up. Hovering the nose. So, again, that big challenge there is wrist flexion in the peacock pose, Maryasana. So, we want to do that before we get into side crow, and then some of the transitions we might do later. So side crow, if we come into a twisted chair, so we come into chair pose, Utkatasana, and then prayer twist, bring that elbow to the outside, pressing the elbow into the thigh just above the knee, hands come out, and then tipping the weight over. Then extending the legs out, looking up, straighten the legs. Maybe you can come to a flying split here. Not so much today, maybe. Then coming back out of it into the squat. Elephant pose. So we saw in Titibhasana where we brought the knees up by the shoulders. In elephant pose, we bring the knee behind, and then fold the knee down, hand come to the hip, and then lift up. This is elephant pose. On the other side, we'll do Ashtavakasana. Ashtavakasana is 8 angle pose. Again, the knee comes behind the shoulder. The knee folds over and holds the shoulder. Hand comes down next to the hips. And then as we lift up, now we cross the legs, straighten them, and then rotate. Keeping this arm, chaturanga arms on the right hand side, looking over, and coming back up and out. Now there's a transition from Ashtavakasana, 8 angle pose, to Ekapada Kundayasana. So, coming again back into 8 angle pose. Cross, rotate, straighten the arms, and bring that leg through and out. Come out of this, lift up, bring that leg through, and down. So, Visvamitrasana. It's a kind of a bound side angle. So, this side plank